Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of our Booster Club members for your many donations and much more, your prayers. We visited faraway countries and strange lands. We've even spoken to dignitaries and were detained for spreading the glorious gospel in Cuba. The truth is that the descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel were scattered throughout the world. Help us on our journey as we continue to raise up the nation of Israel. 12 tribes worldwide. Join or donate today. Shalom.
You want to know the true God.
You want to know the true God. We're going to show you the true God. Because the guy you've been learning is this white man. The same guy that's shooting you down on the street. That's why they can shoot you. That's why they can rape us. That's why they can rob us. That's why they can mass incarcerate us. God, I'm going to show you in a minute. God is a black man. Did you know that? Are you sure? All right. Read that. No, keep on reading.
For your hands are defiled with blood, and your fingers with iniquity. Your lips have spoken lies.
Your lips have spoken lies. We say every Sunday we love Jesus, we love the Lord, but in actions we deny him.
Right.
In works we deny him in everything. If I ask you a question, name me 7 of God's holidays or high holy days.
We don't know for sure. We can't say,
Do you know?
Of course I know, but like
What are they?
No, everybody celebrates Christmas.
Are you sure? You said Christmas.
Right.
Is that a holiday of God?
Is it?
You see? Is it? Is that in the Bible? It's not in the Bible.
No, it's not.
No. What about dress code? What is God's dress code for men and women?
What is the dress code?
Yeah.
As come as you are, but
See, we don't know. You see blanket answers. What about God's dietary laws?
don't eat the fowl. We're not to eat
So
of
we
the
don't know.
scavenger.
Huh?
We're not to eat of the scavenger, but then we tell other people that, they say, well, look, as long as you bless it, it's okay to eat it.
You see what I'm saying? All these are blanket statements, but what's defined in the first 5 books of Moses is all laws.
Right.
All God's high holy days. You have his ceremonial laws. You have his dietary laws, which defines what you can eat and what you can't eat.
Right.
You got the moral laws of how to conduct ourselves with each other.
That's right.
How to deal with a thief. How to deal with an adulterer. How to deal with hatred. The internal things within our community which plagues us. But we don't know these things. That's why God says this. Read it.
Your tongue hath muttered perverseness.
Read.
None call it for justice.
You see, our tongue has muttered for perverseness. We look at the hip-hop industry, rap, right, my man? My man, how you doing? What's your name? Rock? What's going on, Rock? It said, read that part again. I want to show you something. Read.
Your tongue hath muttered perverseness.
Our tongue has a muttered perverseness. What comes out of black Latinos' tongues? It's perverseness. When you look at the hip-hop industry alone, what's it talking about? Promiscuity, sex. You have sisters like Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion talking about my WAP. Wet ass, you know what? Now it's dry, you know what? Because you are, what's the name, what? Divorcing him. So our sisters are built on the wrong immorality. Their tongues mutter and pervert. Lil Wayne, what is he talking about? Roll up on a brother. Yeah, Chief Keef. What plagues us in the community, and not only the rap music in the community, plagues our children. Our children is trying to what? Our children is trying to reflect what they see on TV. They're trying to pattern themselves after their favorite entertainer or rappers. And that's why the dominant society pushes hip-hop. They push and give them millions of dollars to indoctrinate our children. And that's why we have what? High rates of abortion, high rates of sexual transmitted diseases, because through the music they push adultery, they push fornication, they push theft, they push murder in the music. Our tongues mutter perverseness. Read.
None call it for justice.
None call in our community for justice. Where's the Black Lives Matter when a little kid in Chicago months ago was shot in the head?
Bring it out.
Where's Black Lives Matter in Philadelphia? We had a 2-year-old shot in the head. Where's justice? Where's that? Where's the march for that? It's all facade. It's all a political movement. The Black Lives Matter is nothing but a political movement that was set up by George Soros to establish the LGBT community.
Bring it out.
Liberalism. It's all political movement. That it was a Trojan horse in order to get themselves in a position of authority. They use the death of black lives. But where's the injustice amongst our community? Who's calling for the murders of black on black crime? But we say no snitches, but when it comes to a cop, we say, you know what? We're gonna protest, we're gonna march. Because why? In our mind, Jesus killed us. In our mind, Jesus shot us down the street. And that's why we plead to the mass. That's why we plead to the criminal. Rather than what? Fixing the problems in our community. He says, none call for what?
None call it for justice.
Read.
Nor any pleaded for truth.
Nobody pleads for truth. Nobody pleads for God's laws. Nobody wants change in our community. Because if we want to change, guess what? You would change, we would change ourselves.
Right.
Change starts inside. In order to change, the black man first and foremost, the leader of the nation, has to change his ways.
That's right.
Yeah, the black man gotta put down a blunt, get out the Christian church, pull up your damn pants, get a job, take care of your family, marry your woman, raise your children. Because the nation, the birth of a nation comes from family first and foremost.
That's right.
And the reason why our nation's so broken up is because of what the black family ties has been destroyed.
Right.
So that's the first change. We none call for truth. The black man don't want to hear that. The black man don't want to hear get a job, take care of your family, marry that woman, stop slinging your rod all around, stop what? Having sex with everybody, impregnating your sister, prostituting your sister, making money off your women. None call for truth. Read.
None, nor any pleaded for truth. They trust in vanity.
And we trust in lies. You trust in American system. You trust in America's political system, the government. Are you going to vote?
I have to.
You see? Now, think about it. Well, you say you have to, but you really don't. Now, does somebody put a gun to your head to vote? Is it a law to vote?
Only to the fact that if they're in control, I gotta be able to make them accountable. If I give them my vote, I gotta force them to change the laws to help my community.
Now, check this out. Now, we voted Obama into office, right?
Obama was a bad mistake.
No, but we voted him into office thinking that he was going to be changing our community.
Right.
But the only change that he brought in the community was the LGBTQ. He passed laws for LGBTQ. He passed laws for everybody but black people. Black people are never going to realize voting is not going to give you justice. Voting is not going to give you freedom. Because why? Every 20 years, we have to renew our vote under the Voters' Right Renewal Act. Every 20 years, and the next time it's up, it's 2030. Because what? In America, you are not a civilian. You're a denizen. You're not a citizen. You're a denizen. Because to this day, on American Constitution, you are still 3/5 of the man. They have not yet removed that. They have not removed it on American Constitution that you're 3/5 of the man. So your vote really doesn't matter. That's why they go by the what? The Electoral College vote and not the popular vote. Because even though Hillary Clinton won by popular demand, Trump was voted in by the Electoral College. So the black man's vote don't count. The black woman's vote don't count. The Latino man. And then what? You gonna vote for Biden? Biden will push for this separation.
Right.
He pushed for segregation. Biden in his 1970 speeches hated. Biden hates black people.
Right.
Trump hates black people.
Right.
So which one are you voting for? Which devil are you voting for? Are you voting for Satan or Satan's workers? Oh, Lucifer. Which one you voting for? You see what I'm saying? Read that again.
They trust in vanity.
You trust in the lies of your oppressor. You trust in vanity. Hold that real quick. We're going to go back to that. Get me Lamentations 4 verse 17. You trust in lies, because why? We're looking for social injustice in an unjust place. And you're going to vote. And when we've been voting for what? Since Martin Luther King gave us some type of civil rights, but guess what? How long have we been voting? How long have we been what? Marching the streets? How long have we been holding a sign, police brutality? How long have we been holding the signs saying, we are man? How long are we going to hold the signs saying, hands up, don't shoot? We're singing the same song since the 60s. When is it going to change? When's a black man going to realize that his power is not the system, but his power is his God? The God that placed him in these conditions. Read.
Lamentation chapter 4 verse 17. As for us, our eyes has yet failed for our vain help.
The Bible says, as for us. Who's the us? Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. We are the us. We are the Israelites according to the Bible. We are the Hebrews. We are the Jews. We are the people that Christ spoke to. That's what Christ says, I am not sent but unto the Lord sheep of the house of Israel. He's talking to us. We're lost. We're lost to our heritage. We're lost to our identity. We're lost to our conditions. We're lost to our role, our purpose in life. We're lost to who our God is, what our God looks like, what color our God is, the heritage of our God. We're lost to every aspect of life. Read.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
In our watching, when you go on the TV, you turn on the television, we watch for a nation that cannot save you. Joe Biden cannot save you. Trump cannot save you. Kamala Harris cannot save you. Kamala Harris supported what? The 3 strikes rule. Mass incarceration. So what are you voting for? Think about it.
Bring it up.
You're actually voting for your destruction. You're actually voting for further destruction in the black community. People don't realize you're casting your vote on a man that's set up to destroy you. Read.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
They cannot. America, we were not brought to America to be saved. We were brought to America to live out our punishment that God places in. We are watched for a nation that cannot save us. Read.
They hunt our steps that we cannot go in our streets.
They hunt our steps. We cannot even go in our streets. We cannot drive. You drive in a car, you say, whoop, 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 whoop. What happens? Knees start buckling. Yes, Mr. Officer. Yes, boss. My name is Charles Taylor, the 3rd, for the 4th generation of slave. Your father enslaved me. We would try to appeal to them so that what? Look, my hands is on the steering wheel. I'm getting my license. Is that okay, sir? They hunt our steps that we cannot go on the streets. Neither can we go in the house. You cannot even with Botha and John. My man's chilling and his box is watching TV and eating ice cream. You know, a black man, it's bad enough that a black man has to look over his shoulder for his life in the streets. But to go to comfort his own house, he can't do that. Now you have Botha and John was killed in his house. You have our sister Breonna Taylor was killed in her house. How many they hunt our steps that we cannot go on our streets? Read.
Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled.
Our end is near. Our days are fulfilled. Read.
For our end is come. Our persecutors are swifter than eagles of...
Our persecutors are what?
Are swifter than the eagles of the heaven.
Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. What is America's symbol? What is America's symbol? The bald eagle. Our persecutors are what?
Are swifter than the eagles of the heaven.
Our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. How you doing, sir? You have a question? Okay, check this out. It says our persecutors are swifter than the eagles of the heaven. Well, who's the person? Who's this persecutor that is swifter? That symbol represents the eagle. That's our persecutor. Give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 15. What you're going to realize, our condition is by divine design. We were not brought to America to live out justice and justice. We were not brought to America for freedom, equality, liberty. We were brought to America from a sentence of God.
Right.
You talking about mass incarceration? America's the biggest incarcerated system on the planet Earth.
That's right.
America, ever since the slave ships docked on North America, our prison sentence started.
Bring it
For the
on.
North American Indians, for the Native American Indians, for the Aborigines, for the Latinos that was enslaved by Christopher Columbus, by Pedro de Vasquez, by Diego Velazquez, and Ponce de Leon, all the captors, conquistadors, all of them. Since they came on this side of the world, that's where mass incarceration truly started. Since blacks were born here in 1619, that's where the true imprisonment started. The enslavement of the Israelites. The enslavement of the true Jews of the Bible. Yes, blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians, we're the real Jews of the Bible. And we're under persecution. And the ego, America, Lucifer, Satan, 666, Esau, Idumean, Edom, our persecutor. Read Deuteronomy 28 verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
Who's speaking? Prophet Moses. Moses was a black man according to the Bible. If Moses was walking around today, they'll call him a Haitian. That's right. The Haitians are the Levitical priests. Moses was a descendant of the Levites. Well, Moses was a Levite, but the Haitians are descendants of the Levites. Read.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Moses is saying, but it shall come to pass. If we will not hearken, meaning listen unto God's voice, meaning in the future. Moses is prophesying in the wilderness. After what? After he delivered the Israelites out of ancient Egypt, another what? Another slave master, another slavery, another captivity. We were slaves of the ancient Egyptians for 400 years. America is the new Egypt. America is a new captivity. America is a new Pharaoh. Read.
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
Read.
to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day,
Read.
that all these curses,
That all these what?
all these curses,
That all these what?
all these curses
That all these curses shall do what?
shall come upon thee
Shall come upon the true Israelites and do what?
and overtake thee.
And overtake the Israelites. So the Israelites will be identified by the curses in which they live in, the conditions that they live in, the day-to-day struggle that they live in, the social injustice that they experience, the mass incarceration that they live through, the police brutality that they suffer through. Read verse 48, because it says the eagle, the persecutor. The eagle is our persecutor. Read verse 48 now.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 48.
Read.
Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies.
Because we don't want to keep God's commandments. He says, therefore, you don't want to keep my commandments. Therefore, you're going to serve your enemies. You're going to serve the Portuguese. You're going to serve the Spaniards. You're going to serve the French. You're going to serve the Dutch. You're going to serve the Germans. You're going to serve the Irish. You're going to serve America.
That's right.
Therefore, you don't want to serve me. You're going to serve your enemies. I gave you everything. I gave you the world. I gave you world supremacy. I gave you gold. I gave you water. I gave you wood. But you never came to me. You never cried to me. You never prayed to me. You never came to the Lord. So God says, therefore, you're going to serve your enemies. Read.
Which the Lord thy God shall send against thee.
Which God shall send against us. God sent the enemy against us. God sent America against us. That's why I said our slavery is by divine design. Read.
In hunger.
Guess what? We have to serve our enemy in hunger. We don't own any major food produce. We don't own the farms to distribute food in our community. In fact, they distribute the worst type of foods in our community. They distribute the lowest grade meat in our community. The lowest grade foods, the most poisonous, the most defiled foods in our community. Shoot, we don't even know what we're eating. We don't even know if it's meat or not. Read.
And in thirst, and in nakedness.
And thirst, you have to serve your enemy. We don't own the major, we don't control the water reservoir. We don't control the water. That's why you have in Flint, Michigan, they shut off the water if they don't pay the phone on the water bill. They shut it off because people didn't want to pay because why? The lead poisoning, right? In Newark, New Jersey, you heard about that with the lead poisoning? With the 30 schools? Guess what? But we don't own these companies, the water companies say, can you change our pipes so our children can be healthy? So children won't have mental health conditions? We don't own the water, so if we can't provide, even the water in certain countries like Peru, if you collect rainwater, they tax you for it. In certain states in the United States, certain states in this country, If you collect rainwater, you can be fined for that if they catch you. So read that again. In thirst.
And in thirst. And in nakedness.
And in nakedness. We don't own the raw textile to provide clothing for our people. We don't own it. You have Puff Daddy. You have Jay-Z. They have a clothing company, but they don't own the raw textiles, the material in the factories to produce the clothing.
Right.
Read.
And in want of all things.
And in want of all things. You want medication? Guess what? You got to go to the enemy. You want a Medicare? You got to go to the enemy. You don't have a job? You got to go to the enemy for a job. We don't produce enough jobs to supply work for our people in our community. You want a driver's license? Guess who you got to go to? The enemy. You want a birth certificate? You got to go to the enemy. A marriage license? You got to go to the enemy. All your wants and needs, in which we used to go to God, now he says, you don't want to serve me? Now all your wants and needs, you got to go to the people that's over your oppressor. You want justice? You got to go to your enemies for justice. But the same people that are killing you, you got to seek justice from them. Read.
And in want of all things.
Read.
And he shall put a yoke.
And he, the enemy, shall put a what?
A yoke of iron upon thy neck.
And the enemy shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. Get the sign up. Come closer. I want to show you something. Can you see? Read that part again.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
And he, the enemy, shall put a what?
A yoke of iron upon thy neck.
And he, the enemy, shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. What you're witnessing is Bible prophecy. What you're witnessing is Bible prophecy becoming Black history. The reason why Black history we know of it today, and we experience it, is a direct result of God's curses being placed upon the Israelites for breaking his laws, statutes, and commandments. So he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, based upon God's curses placed upon the Israelites. I identified that the blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans witnessing or experiencing social injustice is just a product of God's curses.
Right.
By divine design. Read.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Until he have destroyed thee. Until 2020, we still don't know who we are. We're still voting. We're still marching. We're still calling for justice. We're still calling for peace. Now God's going to identify the nation. Because I showed earlier that it says, in the eagle, your persecutors. Read.
The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies.
God is showing you who's going to do it. Who's going to put these curses upon you. God's going to bring a nation from far, as swift as the eagle flies. Give me the sign. What was the symbol of Spain, Portugal, America? What is the symbol? The eagle.
Right.
And God shall bring a nation against you as swift as the eagle flies. There's a reason why the Most High keeps on representing or identifying an eagle. He's identifying the last days, which captors will have you under oppression, under subjection, so that you be able to discern between good and evil, right and wrong, and not march for social injustices when God put you in these conditions. Now go back to Isaiah chapter 59 verse 8 now. Read.
Isaiah 59 verse 8. The way of peace they know not.
We don't know the way of peace. We have never experienced peace in this country. Read.
And there is no judgment in their goings.
There's no judgment in our goings. Read.
They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace.
Read.
Therefore,
See, we have made crooked paths. In our community, it's nothing but crooked paths. Now, when you go into, there's always two sides of the town, right? You ever been to Newark? Now, if you go to, I'm trying to think, North Newark. What part of North, you know North Newark, right? That's where Whole Foods is. That's where you have your best school systems. That's where you have the ShopRites. And then you go to the south side of Newark. You go to Chicago, what is it, south side, what's the good part? South side of Chicago? Oh, no, that's north, right? North, down Chicago. That's where all white people live. You go to the south side, that's where all black people live. For some reason, the north is always the best, the south is always the worst. We're always going to be in the bottom of society. No matter what country, no matter what city you go to, blacks is always going to be in the bottom. Because why? Because of the curses. The community is a reflection of our condition. The community is a reflection of our sins. What's in here? The hatred that we have for each other is displayed in the community. The lust that we have for each other, guess what? That's why they set up abortion clinics. Because they know that black people, we're gonna have sex with many different women. We're gonna pregnate our sisters. We're gonna leave them. So what's the sisters gonna do? They're gonna abort their children. They don't have a father in the household. No man that's gonna take care and provide for them. So what our sisters do? They resort to killing the baby. So the white man set up Planned Parenthoods in every urban neighborhood. And when you kill your baby, you abort their baby, what happens? They take the fetuses and they sell the fetuses to these large pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
And what these pharmaceutical companies do, they take the aborted black baby fetuses and they administer vaccines.
Bring it out.
They make vaccines from animal cells and fetus, and they put the disease back in the black community. It's a circle of life, baby. What you do to yourself comes right back around to destroy you.
Right.
Read.
Therefore is judgment far from us.
Therefore, because our ways are crooked, because of the crime within our community, because of the hatred, because of the idolatry, judgment is far from us. God is not going to give us judgment. He's not going to give us justice. He's not going to give us peace. God controls this whole show. Read.
Neither does justice overtake us. We wait.
See? Neither does justice overtake us. You're not going to, listen, we're never going to get justice in this country.
Right.
We were not brought to America to get justice.
Right.
Read.
We wait for light, but behold, obscurity for brightness.
We wait for light. We wait for answers. We wait for truth, but obscurity, confusion. Why did they let these police officers off? Now realize that people, it's 2020, but people has yet realized who their God is.
Right.
They have yet realized that God is responsible for all of this.
Right.
That he places these conditions. Obscurity, confusion is within our eyes. Read.
But we walk in darkness.
We walk in darkness. What's your nationality? You're black. What's your nationality according to the Bible?
No.
You see? We walk in, hold up that sign real quick. We walk in darkness. We walk in confusion. We walk ignorantly. We walk without understanding. Not knowing that the black man, African American man, comes from the same tribe that Jesus Christ came from.
That's right.
We walk in darkness. Read.
We grope for the wall like the blind.
We grope for the wall like the blind. What are we looking for? The blind gropes for the wall. They try to see the way. We're trying to see a way through a dark place. America's a dark place.
Right.
America's Babylon the Great.
Right.
America is when the scriptures in Psalms 23 says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall not fear evil. America's the valley of the shadow of the death.
Right.
America is the place of our destruction. Right. America's our captivity. America is Babylon the Great.
We used to scream black power while heroin was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. Iuic has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. Iuic, we deliver the truth.